Welcome back to another episode of Rooftop Psychology, where we take your unconscious mind out of cruise control and throw your conscious mind into overdrive. Today, I'm going to talk about self-awareness or one's self-transparency. Now, we always think to ourselves, well, of course I'm telling the truth. And at the end of the day, anybody who's honest with themselves knows that you can lie to others, and even worse, lie to yourself. And this is how you get yourself into a lot of deep depression, dark spaces, isolation, solidarity, because you end up creating a false narrative in your mind to live by and then filling in the gaps to give yourself this idea like everything is just okay, everything is fine. I'm going to break down kind of into two pieces here on the one self-transparent, whether you're actually transparent with yourself, into two basic branches. One is going to be about character and one is going to be about lying. So when you look at character is, your integrity, your word, how you interact, how you act. It's a lot of to do with who are you, how do you behave, and what do you do when others aren't watching you. That's a lot easier to be credible, accountable to your actions when someone's watching you, right? You're driving down the highway, even if you know you have the cruise control set at 55 miles per hour and you're doing 60, the speed limit 60 mile an hour. You see a cop come over top of the hill, you immediately hit the brakes, you check, you look out, you start sweating, you go through the panic stages, the whole 9 yards starts coming on to you like you've done something wrong and you're guilty. Well, that's basically making sure you're held accountable because you don't want to get in trouble, right? You don't want to be breaking the law, breaking the rules, and here you're on the side of the highway getting a ticket or a fine or any of the sort, right? You just want to be able to go about your business. Well, that is exactly the same concept with character. So, it's easy to say that you're somebody when you're around other people. And for that brief moment in time, whether that's 10 minutes or maybe a day, you can probably get away with being somebody that you're not because you're trying to fit in, see a role, play the part, don't be the odd man out. You can, as the saying goes, which is a really poor saying in my opinion, but it's a fake it till you make it, right? And that's really, at the end of the day, you're just faking it. And so that is basically the character side, is who are you and what do you do? Are you doing the right things, the moral things, the good things when other people aren't watching? Are you doing that all on your own accord? The lying is the other side of it where, yeah, you can get away for a little while lying to somebody. Depends on how close they are in a relationship. If they're just a passerby, maybe it's a waiter or a waitress at your table, it's pretty easy to lie to them and make up a story, right? Or maybe you are the waiter or waitress, you make up this elaborate story to the people, or even coworkers that you work with that never come to your house, they never meet your kids, your family, any of that sort. You can create quite the elaborate lie around your life, family, but you can't lie to yourself. So even when you're trying to do your damnedest at creating a fallacy around, in your gut, you know that you're lying. Deep down inside, you got sort of that, excuse my French, the bullshit meter going off, because deep down you're contradicting what you're saying versus the actions that are actually being done. I'm going to take you down a journey down a highway to give you an analogy to wrap this together. The difference between the conscience and your mind, right? Your mind is sort of like a popcorn machine, just popping, pop, 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 little thoughts and all this sort of stuff, or maybe like a bingo, you're just rolling the hopper and all of a sudden, B52 comes rolling out and, the numbers and the letters keep coming out. Well, those are your thoughts, right? You wake up in the morning, you don't even know the first thought that's going to come to your mind. You can actually go to sleep with a particular thought process that you want to wake up with. And I want to have this thought the first moment I wake up, and you can't even guarantee that, right? Because there is actually a disconnect between the conscious mind and the mind at which we're kind of battling all the time to keep in check. That's the bridge of think before you speak, right? If you're just letting your mind speak, you could say things that hurt yourself or hurt others and things that you don't and shouldn't say or mean. And that conscious mind is the awareness of what that kind of that popcorn pinball throwing out the ideas is. So following with here, the mind and the conscious mind of it, the awakeness of your actual mind, right? You're driving down the highway in your car, and you can tell me as a passenger all these sorts of different things because of the dashboard display that you have in your car. Whether your oil's full, how full your gas tank is, how fast you're going, if you have any lights on, your windshield washer fluid's full. You can tell me all these sorts of things because you're getting a feedback coming from different sensories that are hooked up to the mind of your vehicle. Now, I want you to imagine going down the road and all of a sudden your check engine light comes on. And don't those things always come on at the worst damn time? You're sweating, you're trying to just pay your bills or something else came up and here you go, bing, check engine light comes on. And the worst thought that comes to your mind, the engine's falling out of the bottom of the damn car, right? Well, you didn't have control over the check engine light, but your conscience is sitting there, bringing awareness to what is being sighted in front of you. So imagine the engine is your car and the conscience as your actual mind, right? The alertness, not your actual mind, the alertness and the awareness of your mind. All right, so we're going to break that even further. I want you to imagine driving on the highway and I ask you a bunch of these series of questions. You can tell me all these sorts of things about your car. I could be sitting inside the car with you, but I can't tell you even certain things about the car, right? I may be able to look in the mirror and see something, but I can't even tell you all the things, and I'm a secondary person, but I can verify what you're doing. So when you're out there and you tell me, oh no, the check engine light's not on, but I can see the check engine light, I can hold you accountable thinking, well, either you don't understand what the check engine light is, or you're blatantly lying. Which one is it? That's the difference between lying to yourself. You can sit there and lie to yourself at home. You can sit there and lie to others. But at the end of the day, you are tested inside of society. I want you to imagine going down the highway by yourself. All right? You see all the lights. You see your indicators. Your fuel's topped up. Everything seems great. A perfect stranger pulls up beside you, points down at your front right tire, and mouths to you that your tire's flat. Now, isn't it amazing that we instantly believe that person? And we can believe and trust that person that they're not sitting there lying to us. Complete stranger. Why is that? Why is it that we trust a perfect stranger? I want you to put another scenario. I want you to take your best friend, close family member, and they pull up beside you. You weren't expecting it. And they point down and they say, hey, you got a flat tire. Is your immediate response going, oh, they're just screwing with me? Or is your immediate response, my life is in danger. I need to slow down, pull over the car, and look to see if my tire's flat. Now, why do we have a distinction between those two thoughts? Well, because we've actually grown in a relationship with this individual. We have trial, time, tests. We've been through different circumstances to kind of gauge who this person is and what their character is. Now, are you an individual in your life who promotes, provides, enforces that sort of, I would say, upsetting thought that you can't be trusted? You can't be trusted more than a perfect stranger? This is a tough question. This is a question you could lead down your life and ensure that your character is actually on point, on cue, and you're living by the one that you think you're living by. In order to do this, you must influence and interject yourself into society with people that you do trust that can give you positive feedback. And when you do ask the question, hey, I'd like your opinion on something, don't be quick to judge. Don't look at this person as though they're condescending to you. You did ask them, after all, what their opinion was of you. And they are giving you their opinion. So maybe just take their opinion at face value as though it's coming from a place of love instead of judgment. So you can make sure that you can be transparent with your mind, with your consciousness, to ensure that you are living a life that you're choosing to want to live. That's going to wrap it up here on this episode. I look forward to the next one. Hope you enjoyed that. I will see you on the next.